Good morning everyone. Today I am going to present IC number 620. A 38-year-old female presented with history of pain abdomen, leukorrhea and irregular bleeding since 6 months, for which she consulted a gynecologist who advised her for USG abdomen. USG abdomen revealed complex hypoechoic nodule in the anterior cervix which was suggestive of neoplasia or cervical endometriosis. She was then referred to a cancer center for further evaluation where her pap smear was done. Pap smear cytology report was negative for intraepithelial lesion or malignancy. Even after giving symptomatic treatment, her symptoms persisted, for which hysterectomy was planned. Hematological workup was done, which was within normal limits. On general physical examination and systemic examination, no abnormality was detected. Then the patient was taken up for hysterectomy and the specimen was sent for histopathological reporting. This is the specimen which we received. It is a specimen of uterocervix without bilateral adnexa, measuring approximately 10 cross 6 cross 3 centimeters. And in the second figure, we can see there is epidermidization over the cervix. On cut surface, we can see a Nabatean cyst. On microscopy, H&E stain section studied shows endometrium which was in secretory phase, showing loose edematous stroma. Myometrium in the low power is unremarkable. Cervix in the high power here shows coilocytes and there is lot of keratinization. Cervix here in the high power shows nuclear atypia, which is up to lower third to half of the epithelium at squamocolumnar junction. So, my diagnosis is cervical intraepithelial neoplasia 2. Coming to review of literature. Cervical intraepithelial neoplasia is a pre-invasive or pre-malignant lesion. CIN is a single continuous disease process that is characterized histologically by a failure of the normal process of maturation in the squamous epithelium of the transformation zone together with a variable degree of nuclear enlargement and pleomorphism. Etiology: HPV, that is type 16 and 18 are more common. Multiple sexual partners, younger age at first coitus, oral contraceptives, cigarette smoking and HIV infection. Coming to epidemiology, younger age group women are more prone for CIN. Estimated prevalence is 0.5 to 1%, while the incidence of CIN has dramatically increased recently. Site: CIN occurs in the area of metaplastic squamous epithelium within the transformation zone on the ectocervix or within the endocervical canal. Coming to gross examination, predominantly the patient presents with flat lesions. They are hard to identify without acetic acid application. Here in this figure we can see gross appearance of carcinoma in situ, that is CIN3, which is extensively involving the uterine cervix. Coming to grading of CIN. CIN1. It is recognized by mild nuclear abnormalities at all levels of the squamous epithelium, but a lack of cytoplasmic maturation of the cells in the lower third of the squamous epithelium. CIN1 is treated as low-grade spontaneously regressing lesion. In this figure, we can see CIN1, which is accompanied by coilocytic atypia. CIN2. Failure of cytoplasmic maturation in the cells in the lower 1 to 2/3 of the epithelium and a greater degree of nuclear atypia which persists to the surface of the epithelium. Features indicative of HPV infection such as presence of coilocytes, epithelial multinucleation and individual cell keratinization are most evident in CIN1 and 2 and less apparent in CIN3. In this figure, we can see CIN2 with moderate dysplasia. There is proliferation and atypia in the lower two-thirds, but some surface maturation is still apparent. CIN3. Failure of cytoplasmic maturation extends into the upper third of the epithelium or occupies its full thickness, and nuclear atypia of a more severe type is present throughout the epithelium. In this figure, we can see extensive involvement by CIN3 of surface epithelium and glands of endocervix. The grade of CIN is rarely uniform throughout the affected area of the transformation zone. Generally, it is of lower grade at the outer ectocervical margin adjacent to the ectocervical squamous epithelium and of higher grade centrally. When invasion occurs from CIN, it may occur from the surface epithelium or from crypts, and the epithelium through which invasion has occurred most commonly has the features of CIN3. 35 to 40% of cases of CIN3 will evolve into an invasive squamous cell carcinoma within 20 years of diagnosis if left untreated. The diagnosis can be made by cytology, that is pap smearing, or by cervical biopsy. Coming to cytology, high nuclear to cytoplasmic ratio, nuclear enlargement, usually threefold it is enlarged, hyperchromasia, coarse chromatin, nuclear membrane irregularities, and inconspicuous nucleoli. Arranged as syncytium or hyperchromatic crowded groups or single cells. In this figure, we can see in the figure 1 there is marked nuclear atypia. And in the figure 2, we can see marked nuclear atypia and enlargement of the cells when compared to some cells which shows a small nucleus and large cell. Coming to immunohistochemistry. P16, it shows diffuse block type nuclear and cytoplasmic immunoreactivity, and Ki67 proliferation and BAG3. Coming to differential diagnosis. Immature squamous metaplasia. There will be no loss of organization or polarity. Uniform nucleoli with fine chromatin, columnar cells may be present on the surface, no abnormal mitotic figures. Transitional metaplasia. It is seen most commonly in the postmenopausal women. It shows upper layer horizontal orientation, oval nuclei with irregular counters and nuclear grooves, and fine chromatin. Flat condyloma. Cells in the upper layer of squamous epithelium are vacuolated and enlarged. That is, coilocytes are present. There will be basal cell hyperplasia, but there is no nuclear atypia. Microinvasive carcinoma. Cells with eosinophilic cytoplasm infiltrate the stroma below and are in continuity with the abnormal mucus secreting columnar of epithelium of endocervical type, which lines the crypts and covers the surface of the cervix. These are my references.